First, what motivated you to be a missionary?
Well, actually, when I was 16 years old, I grew up in the church, but I was never like fully walking with God. It was always like I would go to church on Sundays, and then I would go to parties on Saturdays, and I was always in both worlds. But when I was 16 years old, I decided to go on a mission trip with my church that was only like 10 days long. And we actually came to Brazil. And it was my first time ever being out of the country. It was my first time ever experiencing a culture that wasn't my own. And God began to show me what it's like to live with people that you're not used to live in cultures that you're not used to. And he showed me the need that there is in the world for Jesus. Like everywhere that we go, people are so desperately in need of Jesus. It doesn't matter if you're in a place that, if you're in the poorest favela or if you're in the richest part of Rio. Like there's people everywhere that are so in need of him. And so he began to show me that for the first time and to open my eyes to think about other people rather than just thinking about myself. And so that was when I was 16. And so I knew I was going to come back to Brazil. And then I ended up coming back when I was 18. And then I actually did a missionary school afterwards when I was 18. And I decided that Jesus was worth it and that people's lives were worth it. And that there was nothing better that I could do with my life than to see Jesus' name be made known in every place that I was, whether it's home in California or whether it's in Hawaii where I was living or whether it's here in Brazil or in other nations. He showed me that his love really is the most amazing thing in the world and that every single person deserves to hear about it.
What Jesus means for you?
Like when I even just think about the name Jesus, like it literally, I have so much joy in my heart because I know that I am so undeserving of his perfect love, but he gives it to me anyway. Like I'm so undeserving of everything that he did for us, but he still loves us so much. Like he still calls me his daughter. He's still a perfect father. And so one of the biggest things that I think, like when I think about Jesus, like and who he is in my life, I think like he is the Redeemer. He is someone that, he's the only person that could ever completely change someone's life for the better. Like he's the only, there is nothing better. There's nothing equal to him. There's no one equal to him. And so, and also just, like I just said, like he really is a perfect father. Like I didn't always have an awesome relationship with my dad growing up. He left when I was 3. And so I didn't know what it was like to be loved simply as a daughter. And when I experienced the love of Jesus, really for the first time, I experienced how he cares for me. He's never gonna leave me. He cares about the little things in my heart and about the big things. And I began to understand like what it's actually like to be a daughter and to know my identity in him and to not have my identity in other people or in the things that I was doing, but to just simply be loved by him. And so, yeah, he's a perfect dad and he's really awesome.
We would like to know your best experience with God.
Wow. So I think kind of similar, like a little bit of what I was just saying, how like he's a perfect father. When I went to Hawaii to do my like missionary training school with YWAM, that it's a 6-month-long school, and so the first 3 months is just like there's different preachers coming, there's different teachers coming from all over the world and sharing about God and about missions and all those different things. And then after that, you go to a different nation for 3 months. But the thing that I remember impacted my life the most when I was in my my school in Kona was having a revelation of his love for me and having a revelation of my identity in him. Like all growing up, I always put my identity in other people. I like always felt like I needed to be the most popular at school, like I needed to be loved by everyone at church. Like I was just like so focused on what other people thought of me. because I had felt rejection in my life, and so I didn't know what it was like to be fully accepted, and that's all I wanted. And I remember when I went to go do my missionary school, that's when God really started to show me who He was as a father, and that it didn't matter if I was rejected by anybody else. It didn't matter whether, you know, somebody was my best friend one day and betrayed me the next day or whatever it was. Like, He showed me that He really is always going to be there. He really does accept me for who I am, not just because I was doing the right thing in the moment or, because I was choosing to follow Him, but because He created me and He made me to look like Him, and He's always had a plan for my life. And so when I had revelation of that for the first time, I think really that was the most, like, the life-changing moment for me with God, because it literally changed the way that I thought about myself, the way that I thought about the people around me, the way that I thought about God, the way that I thought about my own parents. Like, it completely transformed my entire life, and I wouldn't be here in Brazil today if I hadn't have had that encounter with Him and hadn't have had that encounter knowing, like, wow, above everything else, doesn't matter my job, it doesn't matter what kind of family I have, like, I'm a daughter of God. Mm-hmm. And I'm loved and accepted by Him, and He is perfect, and He's loving, and He's kind, and He's never going to leave me and forsake me, and He's always faithful to me.
What do you think about the faith here in Brazil?
The faith here?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It is literally the wildest. Brazil is the wildest place I've ever been. They are so on fire for God. Like, I mean, this is my first time at this church, actually. But I have friends from here, and I've been working with the same DTS that Isa was working with. And I've never seen a generation of young people that is so hungry for God and is so hungry for the real thing. Like, it's not about religion. It's not about, like, going to church every Sunday and making your parents happy. But I see a generation of young people that really is truly hungry for God and really wants to know, like, who He is and who He is for them as individuals. And yeah, it's wild, especially, like, I've noticed, especially with the young people, with the youth, how, like, it's not like this anywhere else in the world right now, I don't think, at least not that I know of. But even this last, like, training school that I was a part of, we had like 50 students, I think, and every single day they were so ready for more. Like, they were so willing to sit in class for hours and just learn about who God was, you know? And they were so wanting every single day to go deeper and deeper and deeper in knowing who God is. And that's the cool part about God, is that there's always more that we can know, you know? And there's always more that we can experience. And so here in Brazil, I've just seen wild faith and people that are so on fire for God and that are really seeking out His heart in ways that I haven't seen in any other country that I've been to.
You can give a message for these young people, for this new generation?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me think. Okay. I think if there's one thing that I would want to say is not to fall under the pressure of having everything planned out and having everything figured out. One of the biggest things that I've ever learned in my life is that God is faithful, and He's faithful to provide for us. He's faithful to take care of us. He's faithful in every aspect of our lives. And so if you can learn to put your faith and your trust in Him, like, He's not going to let you down. He's not gonna leave you alone and turn the other way, but He is so faithful to take care of you and to take care of your heart and to take care of everything that you need. And so I think, yeah, if I could say one thing to, like, the young people here, it would be, ask God to teach you how to trust Him, because it's the greatest thing that you can ever do. and knowing his love for you and knowing that you are chosen by him and that you're called by him, that he's had a plan and a purpose for you since before you were born, is once you know that and once you truly understand that in your heart, not just hear the words in your head, but truly understand that in your heart, it completely changes every part of your life. And so, yeah, it's changed my life and everybody else here. So, yeah.